extraction at the border, kill mission in San Antonio.
You're goddamn right we did it.
What? What was that?
If only they knew the pain of looking beautiful.
Only I'd known. How often do you do this?
You've never been to a spa?
It's really awesome watching the dynamic between Cruz and Aaliyah, because here you have someone who's very stiff and rigid and not used to being free. And it's really great for Cruz to be around that, and it sort of brings that out in her.
You've never had a fascia?
No.
God gave you to the wrong family, I think. Or there was a mix-up at the hospital the day you were born.
I think because it's just them two, they're really bonding. They share with each other aspects of their life, and they become very close.
I used to box.
Of course you did. Was that the bruises?
That was a man.
I think there's something there about being assaulted by a man that Aaliyah has very strong views about.
If you get a beating, you let him. Because you didn't leave with the slap.
It was the last beating. I made sure of it.
When she does reveal the truth, that's another bonding moment for them, for their vulnerability and the trust that they share together, and they're opening up all these, very secret kind of things. But I think at first she feels betrayal for not knowing the truth.
She allows herself to be vulnerable with Aaliyah because she doesn't really have a choice. Cruz has to be vulnerable with Aaliyah in order to get information.
I want to be your friend. Will you be my friend?
Yeah, I will.
Aaliyah is probably her only friend, and she, at the end of the day, has to serve her country and her mission.
It's a pretty interesting week you've had.
The stunt in Texas has gotten to such a state that it's reaching now the White House. So that means that our program is jeopardized.
So we're all just going to pretend that a CIA quick reaction force did not execute a kill mission in front of CBS News.
The White House knows what we did. We're not admitting to operating on U.S. soil. However, they 100% know it. And so it's this real cat and mouse scene between all of us. We can keep playing this game, but you'll never be able to prove it. Give it your best shot. At that point, unfortunately, the White House decides that they're going to take control of the mission, which my character sort of says, okay, but not okay.
I don't buy it. They were too upset, and that was too big of a win.
You're gonna get to understand that the level of stress that Jo is under is starting to get to her throughout this season, where she's making decisions that are having a lot of negative consequences, to the point of jeopardizing missions and jeopardizing the whole Lioness program. Throughout all of this, Kaitlyn is still loyal to Jo.
Only thing that makes sense is they want the region destabilized.
I don't see a single political benefit from that.
I don't either. But that's how this is presenting, and we have to figure out why.
The success of the teams, that's the most important thing for her.
They're gonna make sure that they finish out their mission, but now is when Kaitlyn starts to realize that there is a crack, and she has to check and make sure that Jo is still there. Because if Jo is broken, has been cooked, then Jo can't run her program.
They only got this one guard posted outside.
Yeah, if that f***er's alone, who's watching the monitors on the inside?
We're in the safe house. We're monitoring our Lioness. We're monitoring our target. And we hear some activity downstairs that alarms us.
PD? PD knocks? So we spring into action, and all of our training before we started filming, this is the time where it comes into play. We moved as a unit, went down the stairs.
Did a few takes with the night vision goggles on, had them recording so you could just walk through the house.
It was really interesting to put that apparatus on and to use it in a tactical sense. All lights off, very narrow tunnel vision. We quickly dispose of that threat in a humorous way by bringing Kyle in and letting them know, hey, you're in a nice neighborhood, don't f it up.
If I ever see you here again, we're gonna consider you a threat.
No more Band-Aids. Okay? Just you and me from now on.
Would like that.
I think it's one of those things that you put a Band-Aid on something, we'll address it later, but these two characters are in a place where they need to have that deeper conversation and really sort of look at what their life is, what life they're creating for their children, and is it worth it? For them, their relationship was always first, and in my imagination, whether they're seeing other people, that's just for sexual desire, whatever, but you know, no relationships because they love each other. But I just wonder how long that can last.
That's the end of the movie. Why would anyone pay the shit out of them for 2 hours and we're like therapy after that?
So in the beginning, Cruz and Aaliyah are like, you know, friends. They kind of experience all this fun stuff together and it's all friendly, and then it kind of shifts quite quickly into something else.
Don't marry him. It's not my choice. It's absolutely your choice. For me to choose love would be the death of me.
They share a lot of intimacy together and kind of take off their facades from their double lives and share that in that really sacred space between the two.
My mother called. They've chosen a place for the wedding. Mallorca.
That's good.
It's the most beautiful place on the earth.
The relationship has evolved from friendship to something a little bit deeper.
They're both doing something that's kind of forbidden in both senses. There's a loyalty and a betrayal and a fine line there between them betraying their own worlds and their customs and things that are expected of them. So the kiss is a shock.
What? What was that?
I don't know.
But it's also something that begins a very interesting dynamic.
Because she has to kill her father.
You want some breakfast?